Hi, Dan Goodstein here. I head up media and events for ERPA AI. I'm joined today by Yori Bebic. He's the global head of product and innovation at MoneyGram and also the keynote of our upcoming Dallas Oasis event. Yori, thanks for being here.
Sure, my pleasure.
So before we jump in, maybe just give a little bit of a background on your role and your experience in the space.
Yeah, absolutely. So as global head of product and innovation, actually I have two very distinct roles. The first one is managing all project and product initiation at MoneyGram. MoneyGram is a money transfer company. We do what we call friends and family remittance in 200 countries and territories around the world, which is what create the complexity of our work. I think a lot of people are familiar with money transfer. I mean, even in the US through Venmo, and the complexity comes really with the international nature of our product. And the second part, which I think could be very relevant for today's conversation, I also run the innovation lab at MoneyGram. And the innovation lab is really to analyze every new technology that can be relevant to our business.
So, you think of MoneyGram, like a lot of the enterprises I speak to, they have a sort of a legacy-centric business that they're trying to transform into the current digital era, right? So what does innovation look like for a company like MoneyGram? And knowing you're focused on products, is there anything that you're working on right now that you can share?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very relevant for us digital transformation in the sense that we deal generally with first-generation immigrants that just came to a country to try to make a better living and helping the family and relatives at home. And traditionally, this has been entirely cash-based. So people will physically come with $200 in cash in hands, go to one of our physical locations, and we have 350,000 around the world, and expect the money to be available on the other side of the world very quickly. But like everyone, like every technology or every business, I would say, the world is changing really quickly. Everything is becoming driven by mobile technology, and we see a significant shift of usage of phones, of course, an application for money transfer, not only for sending, but also for receiving, where cash is quickly disappearing in some part of the world, such as China, India, where people are just using more wallets. So technology for us and innovation is really to try to go with the way people want to move money, the way they want to do business with us.
Sure, sure. So we as an organization are focusing more and more on digital transformation as a whole. But for many years, our members have come to us primarily for help with software automation, RPA, AI now, and more and more things like IoT, analytics, blockchain, cybersecurity, cloud, mobile, right? What elements are part of your innovation portfolio?
That's actually a very good question, because the easy answer is all of them. And I can give a couple examples. Of course, because we move money, it's highly regulated. And therefore, we have every transaction, we run actually an AI-based machine learning model for reducing or preventing fraud and scams. So the way we collect the information from the sender and the receiver, and then we run this on our models, and our models will predict if the transaction is likely to be a fraudulent transaction or not. And based on this, we take some specific actions. At the same time, if we believe that a transaction is fraudulent, and we do hundreds of thousands of transactions a day, we need to report. So typically we call that a suspicious activity report. Thousands of them, very difficult to do. I mean, very consuming, time consuming. And so RPA is a perfect model. This was actually the first RPA bot that we built, was to actually file suspicious activity reports instead of having literally tens of people into doing that very manual task. Blockchain, you mentioned. For us, blockchain is a fascinating element. And we're not talking, I mean, crypto could have some value, but we are more interested blockchain with identity management and value transfer. More and more regulation require data localization for privacy. So like You may have heard on the news or read yesterday that Russia said that Facebook needs to have all the data of their user in Russia in 9 months. If not, they cannot operate. Well, we face the same type of demands. So blockchain or distributed ledger technology allows us to actually localize data in particular geographies, and then using the chain to be able to still run our process as necessary. So really, I feel that our business is ripe for all those new technology, and we take advantage of it.
No, great. Well, in fact, I was going to ask you, right? So the world of payments and transactions is clearly changing very rapidly. There's less and less cash out there. New platforms emerging every day. And you mentioned cryptos and new currencies popping up pretty frequently. So how does this affect what you're trying to provide to your customers?
Yep. So we did actually a proof of concept with one cryptocurrency. I mean, we made a press release, so I mean I can mention that was with the Ripple, where we are trying to see if we can use cryptocurrency for liquidity in the markets. Because I would say the big secret on money transfer is that money doesn't move. Money is already there. We pre-fund pretty much in bank account all over the world, and then we do value transfer. But if I were to send money from here to Mexico and literally physically move the money at that time, it would take a lot of time. So cryptocurrency, if they are at scale, and if the markets are there with liquidity, could actually allow us to eliminate pre-funding of fiat, what we call regular currency in a particular country, and then use the exchanges to sell cryptocurrency against local currency and deposit that into the bank account or give it in cash for our users. So we are obviously looking into that. We are running some pilot and trial. And I do believe that it is highly probable that this is the way money will move in the future. There is still a lack, again, of liquidity, and some markets are more advanced than others. We deal with a lot of exotic currencies in countries such as in Africa, for example, where I don't see cryptocurrency really being traded in the near future. But in many places, like in Europe, like in Asia, it could be actually possible. And we, if it takes off, we want to be part of it.
You know, you mentioned before the MoneyGram app, and I had seen that you recently launched this. You know, again, thinking about the fact that the traditional business was people showing up to stores looking for cash. What is the intention and rationale behind the app, and how is this going to change your business and the customer interaction going forward?
This is actually the biggest development that we've done lately. 2 years ago, literally, we didn't have an app, and we barely had one website in the US. We are now in 24 countries with both website and app. And the app is really to move from a transactional-based model to go to a consumer-based model, where we want to be able to manage and have a direct relationship with the consumer. To, of course, like I said earlier, to let them move the money the way they want. So we see more and more people that are interested in not going physically to a location and doing the money transfer directly through an app. And the challenge for us, where the user experience is the most challenging, is that moving money is really a trust-based application, services, and transferring that trust on the brand that we have when you talk to a physical person to be able to send money and they trust that you're going to give that on the other side, to transfer that to a mobile application is our primary challenge. We believe we've done a good job at it, but for example, we use a concept that if somebody wants to send money to Mexico, well, we will instantly show a picture of Mexico. So like this, they feel that they're home. If they send to the Philippines, we'll show a landmark of Philippines. And that we have good feedback from consumer that they say, wow, there's this company, they get it. So it's a very simple feature, but it shows that we care. And so this is what we are trying to build our digital assets on that customer experience.
Yeah, great. You know, you mentioned customer experience, and probably of the 2 or 3 top things our members ask us about today, customer experience is on the top of that list. There's so much of the innovation that's happened, certainly in the RPA software automation space, in the early days of outsourcing innovation. Most of it was internal operations, back office centric, not necessarily affecting the customer all that much. What's your vision for how this changes in the future?
I think every service that is successful nowadays is free, pretty much. Facebook is free, Google is free. I mean, people expect the best services and expect to pay nothing. And this is where I see innovation really playing, because it's a way to lower the cost of what we do. It's a way to automate. So that's why, to your point, most of the innovation was back office driven, just to automate processes, to eliminate the cost of running operations. But now I think differentiator, in my mind, at least, and what I see in our business in particular, is that people are willing to pay actually a little more for a better experience, for better trust, for better consumer experience, so that they will return. This is really the biggest challenge we have. So we are really spending a lot of time and money into trying to build the best customer experience and user experience possible, and looking at tons of technology that could be really fascinating. Yesterday I was looking at one that we call that digital humans. It's literally a machine, it's AI, but it looks and feel like a human to have an interaction. So for example, for customer service, or so to us, it looks very, very interesting to look at how new technology could help us actually build a better customer experience, so that we can retain and grow our business.
Love it. Yuri, thanks for being here, and looking forward to seeing you at the Dallas Roundtable coming up.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.